Welcome on in. This is Justin Dorazio with Sports Radio 94 WIP. My guest today is the current and longest reigning Ring of Honor Pure Champion and a fellow PA native, AEW and Ring of Honor star, Lee Moriarty. Lee, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm ready for tonight. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm really pumped for tonight. I'll be going. It'll be my my first Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I've been a Ring of Honor in the past, but never to a pay-per-view.
Oh, it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bummed to hear Nigel McGuinness isn't cleared tonight. I was really pumped for that match. A matchup of technical powerhouses like yourself and Nigel. But tell me a little bit about that match and how do you feel about its cancellation? Does that bother you?
It bothers me in the sense that the reason is Nigel's not 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know that he's going into this Continental Cup, he's going to the next round, and then he's chasing a dream of him competing in Wembley. So I understand that he can't compete in this. He's not medically clear, and that is through medical. Like, they're there to protect us from ourselves sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Nigel would have gotten the ring just like he did with Hechicero to compete anyways. So I feel bad in the sense that it's not going to happen because this is a match that is a big deal for both of us, but also I understand, and I'd rather have him at 100%. Like, I don't want any excuses from either of us. I want to give everything I have without feeling bad about anything I might do to him in his foot, and I want him to have no excuses when I beat him and retain this championship.
I'm interested. Does it feel like Nigel is putting his dream of Wembley Stadium above beating you?
I think so to an extent, but also I understand, like, this is a childhood dream. This is something that he's wanted to do since he was a kid before the Pure Championship even existed. So I get that in the sense, but also I think it shows that, to me, this is the most important thing to me, is this Ring of Honor Men's Pure Championship. To him, it is Wembley Stadium, but also it's just how things shook out. So I don't think he is, dismissing this championship. It's just the timing of everything. If this match happened before Hechicero, maybe he would have pulled out of the Continental Cup, you know what I mean? But it's just how things shook out, and I understand, and then I'm ready to move forward for the next challenge.
So let's talk about that next challenge. Nigel McGuinness out, Shibata in. Tell me a little bit about Shibata, and what's it like trying to prepare for an opponent on such short notice?
Yeah, it's always difficult, but also me being someone that studies so much professional wrestling, I know who Shibata is. I know what he does. I watched this match last night against Wheeler Yuta to determine the number one contender, but it's also something in the sense that Nigel McGuinness is someone I've beaten twice in singles matches. I've never beaten Katsuyori Shibata in a singles match. So now with the stakes so high, I have to figure out the puzzle that is Katsuyori Shibata, and I'm going to do that because my longest reigning championship streak is on the line, and then I currently have 18 defenses, which is the most. I want to make it 19.
Wow. Well, how do you prepare for someone you've never beaten on such short notice? When did you say you found out last night?
Yeah, that's correct.
Wow.
So it's less than 24 hours of preparation to adapt and change things.
But also from his point of view, it's less than 24 hours preparation to prepare for you.
So we're both going into this in a way unprepared, but we're both students. We've been in the ring with each other. We know what to expect, but I also think I'm someone that TAIGASTYLE is about adapting. It's about evolving and overcoming. And when the stakes are this high, and now that I've been in the ring with him twice, I think I'm going to bring something new that he hasn't seen from me yet. And then he's going to have to adapt to me.
Awesome. And you brought up TAIGASTYLE there. Tell me about TAIGASTYLE in case there's anybody listening who isn't familiar with you or your style of wrestling. Explain TAIGASTYLE.
Yeah, TAIGASTYLE is about being versatile. It's about adapting to other people's styles, and it's kind of, in my way, basically Bruce Lee's version of Jeet Kune Do. Jeet Kune Do remove restrictions that you might have in other martial arts. For me, I remove the restrictions of only wrestling one style. So I've trained in Mexico. I've learned from luchadors. I've trained with Japanese wrestlers. I've trained with people who have studied the world of sports style, and I've combined them in ways that make me unique with also my hip hop influences, my aesthetic interests and stuff like that. So you have all these things that make something that's very unique to me in professional wrestling.
Well, who are some of your influences? I know you've worked on a lot of different types of professional wrestling, like you just mentioned. Who are some people that you've modeled your game after?
Yeah, funny enough, Nigel McGuinness and Katsuyori Shibata were two of them.
Wow.
When I came in professional wrestling, I had the all black gear and things like that. Brian Danielson is a big one, Rey Mysterio. I study a lot of world sport, lucha libre. Like one of my favorite luchadors is Super Astro. Is very old school, like the black and white. I like the El Santos. The singlet I wear, I never pull it up, and people always ask, well, why do I never pull this singlet up? That is a reference to a Japanese wrestler named Masato Yoshino from Dragon Gate. So I have influences from everywhere, and I'm just inspired by all of professional wrestling and the creativity in it.
I usually try to stay away from this question, but your knowledge of the game is very, very your knowledge of the sport is clearly extensive. So I have to ask you, who's your Mount Rushmore? Any gender, any style, just four. You can pick one from every style. You could pick two from each gender, anything you want. And what do you think? Yeah,
so I'll say my all-time favorite professional wrestler personally is the first Tiger Master Satoru Sayama, which is also a reason TAIGASTYLE came to be. And then the two people I consider to be the greatest wrestlers ever are Bryan Danielson and Rey Mysterio Jr.
I would agree with you on that.
And then I would probably say maybe I'll say a Joshi wrestler, Akira Hokuto.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Joshi wrestling, and I always liked her style and her hard-hitting way she competes, just giving everything. I love Joshi wrestling.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's talk about that belt that's in your lap right now.
That's right.
For some people who might not be familiar with the pure wrestling style in Ring of Honor, what is the Pure Championship? What is a pure wrestling match?
The Pure Championship is about emphasizing the sport of professional wrestling. A lot of times we'll see tables and chairs, a lot of crazy things, but this is getting back to, I don't want to say the basics, but the foundation of what professional wrestling is, the technique, the sport aesthetic, the thinking man's game. Professional wrestling is chess. I think pure wrestling is 3D chess. This is the next level of what professional wrestling is, and this challenges you to become a better professional wrestler. And I think this is the soul of what Ring of Honor is, if the world championships are the heart.
I love watching your Pure Championship matches, and the way that you're able to, it's almost like, and the way you described it as a chess game is completely accurate. It's knowing the rules better than your opponent.
Right.
How many rope grabs you get and stuff like that you're not even thinking about when you turn on Dynamite and you watch a normal episode of AEW or a normal episode of Ring of Honor. It's specific to this, and it's so much fun. I'm excited for people to see it tonight.
Absolutely. I think if this is your first time seeing it, you're going to see something that you might fall in love with and become your new style of professional wrestling.
Awesome. And I see your Pittsburgh Pirates hat on there. I introduced you as a fellow PA native. What are your thoughts on the Pirates this season? Paul Skeens isn't having the greatest season, but it's, there's more upside, I would say, on the Pirates this year. There's more to look forward to than there has in a long time.
I feel like as long as I can remember, the Pirates have always been on this, we're going to be there, we're not there.
Yeah.
Very much similar to Trust the Process in Philly in a way.
Hey, with the process, we got LeBron. The process is over.
We'll see. It's a 2-year minimum deal and all. We'll see how it goes. But I think there's always a chance. Sports, anything can happen, and I hope for the best. I hope they pull forward. Become great. And I grew up on the north side of Pittsburgh, so we can open up the window and we can hear PNC Park games,
awesome.
Announcements and everything over that as a childhood. So I have a very vivid memory of that.
I've never been to PNC Park. I've only been to Pittsburgh once. I've never had the opportunity to get inside of PNC, but it is gorgeous. It looks astonishing.
I've heard, yeah.
You've never been?
I've been when I was a kid, but not since the renovations.
Oh, you've got to
Eventually, we're going to go, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to get there. Next time AEW runs an event in Pittsburgh, you tell Tony to get you some tickets.
We have an event, and I don't know when the season ends, but it's September. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the season ends in September. Yeah, right around there. They're not going to make playoffs. You've got September. Yeah. But I want real quick, while we're on the topic of Pittsburgh, I want to talk a little bit about Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia.
Okay.
I've always been very, very confident that Philadelphia and the eastern side of the state is rightfully the correct side of the state. But I'm going to throw a couple foods your way.
Okay.
I want you to tell me which is better. What you pick. Primanti Bros sandwich versus a cheesesteak. For those unfamiliar, Primanti Bros, they're like a Pittsburgh establishment. They usually throw fries on their deli sandwiches. They're like a just mostly deli sandwiches.
I'll say this, like a Primanti Bros. I'll probably say Primanti Bros only because a cheesesteak is very dependent on where you get it.
Okay. Do you have a specific cheesesteak place you like?
I don't really, because every time I come here, it's for wrestling. So I never really got to have like, I want to go. I can't remember is it Angelo's?
Angelo's is great.
Yeah, I want to try it.
It's really great. If you want Angelo's, you better be prepared to stand in a line.
That's
one of the places that like 5 years ago you could have gotten in and out. Yeah. Now it's impossible. It's my favorite cheesesteak, and they're not a sponsor, but they should be. Is Jim's on South Street.
I've heard of that one too.
It is delicious. If you like, I'm a fried onions guy, so if you like fried onions in your cheesesteak, they have the best fried onions in the city. They like put all their onions on the side, just do the onions, and then do the meat separate. It's incredible.
It sounds good. Like, and when I say Permane Bros, it's just by hair only because of that situation. But I do love cheesesteaks when I do get to have them. I just never have like the highest level of them because every time I come to Philly, I'm wrestling. So I was like, I can't really eat that.
Well, what about pierogies, a Pittsburgh staple, versus one of the newer Philadelphia foods, the roast pork sandwich?
I've never had a roast pork sandwich.
Oh, really?
So I can't. Yeah. I don't know.
Let's swap it out. Let's do pierogies versus water ice.
Water ice. Oh, like shaved ice type.
Like Italian ice, water ice.
I'll say that because I have very nostalgic memories of like having stuff like that when I was a kid and playing tennis versus pierogies, which is just like carbs.
You don't like pierogies?
I like them, but like, I feel like water ice is more fun. Pierogies,
the Yinzers are going to
I get it. I'm not saying they're not good. I enjoy them every once in a while, but like aesthetically, I just look at them and it's like, all right. Just give me some real ravioli. I'm playing.
Right before you got here, I was actually explaining to someone what they never heard of pierogies. And I was like, it's kind of like a potato ravioli, which I guess is the worst way to describe it.
Yeah, it's good. And the other thing is like typically people eat it with something else,
like sour cream or onions.
So like you dressed it up, it is really good.
Yeah. One more that's not food based: Yinzers or Yins versus Yous. Philly, we say Yous a lot.
See, like my grandparents, they very much have like the Pittsburghese accents. They'll say like yins, yinzers, whoosher, buggy for like a shopping cart. They do all that stuff. So I grew up with that. Use I've heard, but not really. I'd be hearing like John and stuff from y'all.
Yeah, John. Yeah. Well, John's more of a last 20 years thing.
Oh, okay.
Use has been forever. Use is like my grandparents said use.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So like I don't say either. I just say y'all. But probably yins just because that's my childhood with my grandparents.
Yeah. And you started wrestling in 2015?
Yeah, my debut was in December of that year.
Where did you learn? Where did you train?
I trained at a place that was called Pro Wrestling Express under Brandon K and Dean Radford. Now they work at Brandon K started his own school called Rise Wrestling in Pittsburgh, like maybe an hour outside the city. But yeah, that's a great school. And if you're in the Pittsburgh area, I would recommend going there. Awesome.
So you were traveling to and from Pittsburgh, like an hour out every day?
When I began training, it was only like maybe 15 minutes from where I live because I was originally in McPeaceport. But once he started his school, I would like drive the hour to go train there.
Sweet. Awesome. And so you've been a member of Shane Taylor Promotions for a couple years now. What have you learned since joining Shane Taylor Promotions? How has that changed you as a wrestler?
I think for me, it's very much not necessarily that I learned something specific other than just like believing in myself more.
Okay.
Because I'm a very like, I'm hard on myself a lot when it comes to things, whether it's my wrestling or my art. But something that Shane Taylor Promotions provides is like Shane is both an amazing promoter, getting you in the best match possible, getting you in the best situation financially possible, but also he's an amazing corner man. The same you would see in boxing or MMA. He's someone that can see things from a different angle and give you that insight. I don't have that when I do these pure rules because they're banned ringside, but he's still someone that is valued. Earlier this morning, we were studying Katsuyori Shibata tape just to see what we can figure out going into this match today.
Awesome. Wow. That never would have crossed my mind. Shane doesn't seem like a guy on screen who's helping you go through film.
Yeah, it's the sport of it. He's been around longer than me. In fact, the first time I ever went to an independent wrestling show, which ended up being the place I began training as a professional wrestler, Shane Taylor was wrestling on that show.
Yeah.
So I had seen him before I was even a professional wrestler myself.
Wow.
So like you have that many years in a game. It doesn't matter if you do that style of pure wrestling or not. You do understand how things work.
And since joining Shane Taylor Promotions, you've had the interesting, to say the least, rivalry against the Costco Guys, Big Boom AJ, his son, Big Justice, his partner, QT Marshall. QT Marshall, of course, and then the Rizzler. Right. I got to see you guys wrestle on a 10-man against them in the conglomeration at Arthur Ashe, Double or Nothing, which, by the way, the best wrestling pay-per-view I have attended live by far. The second to none. It was what an incredible show
amazing.
AEW put on that night. But that match was so much fun. I have never heard a pre-show match get the arena jumping the way that did. What's it been like wrestling against those guys, or more so just being trusted to work with someone who's not necessarily an extraordinary in-ring talent, who's someone who's not there all the time like you are?
Yeah, I would say I will always give credit to Big Justice, because he was a professional wrestler before he got into all this stuff.
Big AJ, Big Justice,
Big AJ, excuse me, yes, Big AJ. But Big Justice has been around. Like, that's the funny thing. Like, I've seen him get in the ring and run the ropes and things like that. So by the time, if he becomes a professional wrestler, he'll be doing it longer than me at my age. But Big AJ, he's been wrestling for years before he became who he is as the Costco guy, and then being in the ring with him and someone like QT Marshall, who knows a lot. He's trained a lot of people. He's trained the infantry basically. And it was just such a chaotic match, so much going on, them, the conglomeration, at the end of the match, Vita Coco is getting sprayed in people's faces. It's slippery. There's a giant mascot out there. It's like, me as a very like technical wrestler, it was so overstimulating, but it was very fun, like energy and environment to be in, because you also have that New York energy, that crowd around you. So it was a very cool experience, and I'm glad I got to do it.
Eddie Kingston came out at the end of that match, didn't he?
Yeah, and he almost knocked us out. I don't know what he was carrying. He had like a backpack on. He had a stick. Anytime I see Eddie Kingston walking towards me, I walk away.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
And that was Eddie Kingston's like big return. That place became unglued when Eddie came out of there. So much fun. What is a piece of advice? Has there ever been a piece of advice that another professional wrestler has given you that fundamentally changed the way that you approached either wrestling or your sport or anything?
There's two pieces of advice. The one I got when I got into professional wrestling through my trainers, and it's also kind of a philosophy my parents taught me, but it's leave professional wrestling better than how you found it. And that is the idea of pushing this sport forward and doing everything you can to progress things. So like when I'm at the shows before an event, I'm training with people, they're making me better. I'm hoping that I can help them in some way. And then the other advice I actually got, I did a seminar with a guy named Samu, who's a part of the Samoan family.
Yeah.
And something he told me about is like, professional wrestling is kind of like music. There's a rhythm to the things that we do. And when you follow this rhythm, there's just like a euphoric moment, and it creates this energy with the crowd that is special, and it creates a connection.
Wow. What piece of advice, if someone came up to you today and said, hey, I'm just starting my professional wrestling career, I'm 5 matches in, what can I do better? What's one piece of advice that you can give me? What would that be?
I would definitely say figure out how to be yourself and stick to it as much as you can. I think a lot of times in professional wrestling, we're used to what has already worked versus trying to do something differently. I think I'm someone that is pretty different versus aesthetically and how I am in the ring. And there's definitely been times where someone's like, why do you do this? Like, why do I wear a mask only to the ring and not in the matches and things like that? And I've created this space for myself that is distinctly Lee Moriarty, and that's because I stay true to who I am. Same with Darby Allin. He's someone that you've heard talk about, like staying true to who you are and not necessarily changing things, because the reason I got signed to AEW and Ring of Honor is because of who I was before I got here. I'm going to grow and evolve. I'm going to take the advice from people, but I'm not going to abandon everything that made me who I am and got me here.
Awesome. What do you think is one part of your game that is still underrated? I think that you, more than most professional wrestlers out there, have done an incredible job at marketing yourself. Your YouTube channel, where you used to put, I know you haven't updated in a while, but you used to put on your top 10 moves, and then you used to update it, right? So here's the 2017 version, here's the 2018, here's the 2019, 22. And it's just so much fun. You edit those yourself and everything, but you've done an amazing job. You and Matt Cardona, more than anybody, have like kept yourselves online.
Oh, thank you.
What is something that you still think is underrated about yourself that you think you could still improve?
I think something that's underrated about me is maybe, and this is going to sound weird, but the entertaining comedic side of professional wrestling. I think that is such a underrated part of professional wrestling. I think people think, oh, there shouldn't be comedy because it's a sport. And me being the pure champion, people are like, they don't associate that. But it's not necessarily comedy in terms of like just being silly and goofy. It's in terms of being engaging in some way.
Sure.
Perfect example is Okada and how he does these things in these matches that like it makes your emotions go in different directions. And when you have these different waves of emotions, it makes a match more memorable. I recently did a match against an independent professional wrestler named Ichiban at a Orange Cassidy mystery show for Beyond. And it was a 7 out of 13 falls match.
Wow.
The most like random thing you could think of to happen. And it's
Yeah.
like, how do I go approach this? But it's something that has that comedy aspect of it because it's so much going on in such a short period of time. But it makes you think and it makes you a better professional wrestler, and it created waves for the fans to watch and us as competitors. So I think that's something that's underrated and something that I like to showcase when I can.
So you've accomplished a lot, not only in professional wrestling, but outside professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I recently found out that you're an artist
Yeah.
and you're the only professional wrestler with a permanent piece in a museum, correct?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the piece itself and how that process works. Where is it?
Yeah. So I've been drawing since I was a kid. I got signed with AEW around 2021, and like around then or a little before then, I began painting again. I hated doing it in high school. I don't know why. You don't have control of the brush in the same way you do as a pencil, but you know, I had free time and I just wanted to like let go and have fun.
Mhm.
So I began doing that. I got in contact with a guy that I met on the Independence Orange Crush, Adam, and he's in the art world. He said there is this event, NADA, which is basically during Art Basel in Miami, which is the big art event they do every year. And he got a booth. I displayed 8 paintings. They all sold out within that week they were there.
Wow.
And one of those paintings was called the Summer Garden Selfie. And this got collected by the Perez Art Museum in Miami. And they go through a review process of like what gets selected and stuff. And mine got selected, and I became the first professional wrestler actively to have a piece in a gallery. And a few months ago, when Tekla and I had a joint show together in Miami, Sunset Flip, the piece was actually on display for, again, the game of sporting combination of an art show. So it's really cool that like something I created just out of passion and love got collected by a museum.
Yeah. Wow. I imagine you take an immense amount of pride in that.
Oh, I definitely do. Like my bucket list goal when I was painting is like, I just want to have a piece displayed in a gallery.
Sure.
And now I've gone beyond that, and that's really cool.
Wow. Well, what's something you've accomplished? You've accomplished a lot in wrestling. You've accomplished stuff outside of wrestling that you might not have even assumed was possible.
Yeah.
What's something that you still haven't accomplished yet that bothers you?
It's my biggest goal to wrestle in Japan.
Mm.
And I haven't done that yet. Around the time it would have came close, the pandemic happened, you know, things couldn't work out. And it's still something that I'm focused on doing. If I get past Katsuyori Shibata tonight, I would like to go defend this title in Japan. And that's another country it hasn't defended against. And I don't want to say it eats at me, but it's definitely something I'm trying to work towards. But also, I love where I'm at with AEW and Ring of Honor, and I love putting that focus on pure wrestling here. And I want to keep pushing that forward, and hopefully that opportunity comes because we do have a working relationship with New Japan and all these other places. So it's very possible because I have done CMLL, which was an amazing experience. But Japan is definitely the big goal left for me.
You've never gotten to wrestle. Have you wrestled with New Japan in the US at all?
Never. Like New Japan is strong. I've wrestled New Japan professional wrestlers like Tomohiro Ishii.
Yeah.
I wrestled Satoshi Kojima at the first ever Wrestle Dream event.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've gotten to wrestle these guys that I grew up watching and being a big fan of, and that's been really cool.
Awesome. Well, I wish you so much luck tonight against Shibata. And if you are interested in seeing my good friend Lee Moriarty tonight defend this title, you can do so at Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, which is at the 2300 Arena, the former ECW arena for those of you familiar, Swanson and Rittner. Tickets are available on AEWTix.com, and you can order the pay-per-view on Watch ROH, that's Ring of Honor.com on the Ring of Honor app. And then also tomorrow night, Saturday in Reading, Pennsylvania, AEW is making their return to Reading in like 2.5 years, which is big for me selfishly because that was the first time I ever got to interview an AEW talent, Adam Cole, right in Reading. So that's cool for me. Little shameless plug there. But yes, you can get tickets to both Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor tonight and AEW Collision tomorrow in Reading on AEWTix.com. Lee,
that's right.
Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure.
It's been really fun.
Good luck.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.